much. Any notes? Okay, great. Awesome. You guys did great.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. All right. Thank you, AJ. Alan.
Yes.
And Joe Bob.
Joe Bob. That way you're always right. You're always right.
I'm always right. I'm talking about Joe Bob. Oh my gosh.
I think I'm just not gonna play on that one because I don't have keys. I just have like your part. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So is Julius going to come back? All right. Well, yeah.
If there are any members of Shirenu, the youth choir, who are in the congregation but not yet up front, we welcome you to come sit up here with us. And we'll get started in just a minute. Service, y'all. All right.
You, yes.
I'm good when you are.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Shabbat Shalom. It is a joy to welcome congregants and friends and guests as we join together to celebrate Shabbat. Special welcomes for so many who join me on the Bima to Ned Hanover, representing our Board of Advisors. Welcome to our cantorial soloist, Rebecca Robinson. Welcome to Shirenu, the Road of Shalom Children's Choir, generously supported by Donna Horowitz-Barrand and David Barrand, and really building and singing together a Latin Hebrew class, and we're so glad to have you singing with us tonight. Cantor Hyman must really trust us to all be singing together while he's not here this Shabbat, but he'll be back soon. And Rabbi Tamir Nir from our partner synagogue in Jerusalem, Achva Bakerem, who was with us in residence for 10 days, and then again in the spring. We're so glad to have him and grateful to the Rabbi Kuhn Gratitude Fund for supporting it, along with the HUC Golden Hanasi Fellowship from our Reform Movement's seminary, making this possible. We'll have so many opportunities throughout these almost 2 weeks to get to know Rabbi Nir and to welcome him and to learn with him and from him, and we're so blessed to be together. Let's please take a moment to be sure we are among community. Please take a moment to introduce yourself online in the comments or in the sanctuary. Please turn around or stand up and walk around and find someone new to greet. So you're welcome to hang out here, or you're going to say hello and shake some hands. I'm going to go shake some hands. Yeah. No, I agree with that, but that's not what that was. It was just so confusing. No, stay on this side of the edge. We need you over here. Okay.
Thank you so much.
We're not going to sing candles.
Okay, that's great. That's fine.
I'm just going to do the beret pre-Haggadah.
That's fine. And
Yeah.
we'll As we return to our seats, we welcome Fran and Ned Levy to kindle our Shabbat lights as we turn to page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushonu b'sotov v'tzivonu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. In the light? Here.
And our Shabbat Kiddush is on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. B'rei Pri Hagafen. Sorry about that.
L'chaim, Shabbat Shalom. There is so much that is out of our hands. And so one way to approach this season of our national life and maybe our lives in general is to focus on what is in our hands. And one of those things is the mitzvot, Judaism's many sacred actions. We have so many mitzvot to do, no matter what is going on in the world around us. And I have a great mitzvah for us for the next 10 days. And I'll give you a hint about that. In this week's Torah portion, Vayera, we learn about Abraham and Sarah, who are in their tent and see these 3 people coming towards them, and they know that they need to welcome them. And even though Abraham, in that time, is recovering from a wound, Abraham gets up and he goes to the entrance of the tent and he greets those guests. And so I think we too, even if we are healing from and tending to wounds, we too can get up and approach the entrance of our tent to, with enthusiasm, greet a guest. And so we have a lot of practice in these next 10 days in showing this greeting, this welcome to Rabbi Tamir Nir, our guest, this mitzvah of hachnasat orchim, which means welcoming guests. I've noticed, maybe you did too, it has nothing to do with the meaning of the name Nir. I checked, and I'll go into that later. In Hebrew, Rabbi Nir's name does not mean near in English, right? But because most of us here are primarily English speakers, I'm guessing I'm not the only one who hears Rabbi Nir and hears not N-I-R, but N-E-A-R, right? Rabbi Nir, which is a pretty great name for a rabbi, but in particular for this specific occasion, because we are thinking about how we can draw nearer to, not only to him, but through him to Jewish peoplehood and to Israel. And so I'm thinking a lot in these next days about how we can feel near together. we were having a debate. I was having a debate with our 6th and 7th graders here tonight for the Vayikra Shabbaton, and we weren't sure, but do you remember Sesame Street? Okay, and do you remember, see, I thought it was Grover, but some of them thought maybe Cookie Monster. Do you remember when Grover does this near far? Do you remember that? You think it was Grover also? I mean, they're both blue, and so like maybe we just have confidence around the blue, but I feel like David has confidence that it's, you could do the whole routine. There was a whole routine, near, far, near, far. The point was far is the opposite of near, and far is the opposite of what we want to feel with you, Rabbi Near. And so we call Grover into our service once again. We've asked Rabbi Near to really bring as much of his experience, his family's experience, his experience in Israel, not only politics, or though how could that not come in, but really what is the human experience? What is the Jewish people's experience? What is the art? What is the culture? What is the wholeness of what it means to be a part of Jewish peoplehood? We've asked him to bring as much of that as possible with the assurance that we will be just as open-hearted as possible and have ways to connect. And so with his presence and with his teachings and with his music, we hope he will bring lots of new thinking, new ideas, and new music even to us. And so tonight, he's agreed to bring something from Sephardic or Mizrahi sound, from a different part of Jewish culture than so often we are hearing. And so we're going to begin by inviting him to teach us a song from that Mizrahi, that Eastern culture, and the words are on page 4 in our Shabbat program.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Mederer, and all of you for having me. I am so excited to be here. It's the third time for me, but this time it's a long process, and I have enough time to really feel the atmosphere, and to learn from Rabbi Mederer, Eli, and all of you. So thank you for having me. I would say a few words about that piyut, that song. The one who wrote it, Rabbi Israel Najara, he was born in 1555, almost 500 years ago. And he, from Damascus, actually, my sources is from Damascus too. And he was traveling all over, and he was one of the rabbis of Gaza. You should know, he and his son, he was a rabbi. There was a community in Gaza, and he was, his grave is there. We assume he puts there, and he was listening to the melodies of the Arabs. He believed that he should bring the culture, the Jewish culture, to the people through the melodies that they hear in the streets from the Arabs. So he was going to the cafe of their cafe places, learn them melodies, and bring them and put Hebrew words about love, and again bringing the reality, the life, the love between people. He tried to bring that to his songs, and to speak about the love to God, like a love between lovers, and passion, and so on. So many like it, and his songs, he wrote more than 1,000 songs, and many loved them, but some of the rabbis were, oh, it's too erotic, too much, his discretion about the connection. Anyway, that specific song, Ya'ala, 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 it's like the animal, the deer, the female of the deer. And like in the Song of Songs, God is dreaming about Ya'ala, which is a name for us, for the Israelis. So that's a song about. And as always in love, it's not perfect, and there are difficulties, as you probably know from your life. So it's not everything goes well, but we are hoping that it will be well. Let's start, EJ, please. You can join me in the chorus. Yala yala, boy, לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יבוא דודי יחיש צעדיו ויאכל את פרי מגדיו, עם ידידי הלכו נדודיו, יחידה אשב על קני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני. And now with you, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני. שובי אליי את בת אהובה, שובי את ואני אשובה, ועמך זאת עוד כתובה, כי בתוכך אתן משכני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני. ראי דודי נפשי פדיתה, ולבת מאה זאתי קניתה, אתה לבן עמים זריתה, איך תאמר דוד אהבתני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני, יאללה יאללה בואי לגני, ארץ רימון גם פחה גפני. יאללה, please come to my garden. It's like לך דודי לקראת כלה, the wish to be united. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I forgot.
Thank you. It is erotic. I was actually thinking of taking some of the English into the introduction to the song, and I didn't have the guts. So I'm glad we don't speak Hebrew. So we're going to turn to Hine Matov on page 10. We have made space for Shabbat, and so with joy we turn to pages 20 and 21 as we continue with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi
If you are comfortable, there's a tradition to rise and greet the Shabbat bride.
Boi v'shalom, ateret b'alav, gam b'simcha u'v'tzolam, toch emunei am segula. Boi chalal, boi chalal, lechadati, b'kat kala, enit Shabbat, lekavela, lechadati, b'kat kala, enit Shabbat, lekavela, lechadati, b'kat kala, enit Shabbat, lekavela, lechadati, b'kat kala, enit Shabbat, lekavela.
Turning to page 28, we continue with our call to worship. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. La 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 la, 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 la 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 la. Page 33. Together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto,
Page 36. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
How do we join hands and march together, as we say in our Michamocha prayer? I'm thinking about freedom, about Israel's right to freedom and security, about the desperate need to bring home the hostages, now in captivity for 405 days, about our commitment to Palestinian freedom, knowing the media often represents a limited view, ignoring the progressive Judaism in Israel, the shared society work, and the peace work. I am grateful for Rabbi Nir's presence and for the Road of Shalom partnership with Achva B'Kerem, lovingly developed by our Israel Connectors group. And thinking about freedom in the wake of the US election, we have so much to learn from our Israeli reform movement. For in the assault on democracy in Israel 2 years ago, it was the Israeli reform movement who became the spiritual voice of the tremendous protest movement struggling for justice, and who, since October 7th, have been providing support to reform communities throughout Israel, often serving people who thought of themselves as secular, often driving around, working out of their cars, seeking Israelis who embrace progressive Judaism and who seek spiritual life. We take inspiration from our Israeli family as we honor our hope for freedom with Micha Mocha. Page 39, together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40.
וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום.
Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. Page 46 and following, please rise for the Amidah.
וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מהכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך במית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. In a moment, we'll be in our handout on page 5 for our prayer for Israel. First, we invite Rabbi Nir to introduce it.
That prayer that I brought, it's a friend of mine living just next to us in Jerusalem, Rabbi Sivan Shoval, and that beautiful prayer that she wrote is one of hundreds of new prayers that Israelis, rabbi and non-rabbi, wrote, and poems, and so many strong poems that people wrote about the war. Prayer for the hostages, prayer for the soldiers, and many others. And my community started, maybe part of you know, known as a Reform community, but just secular people in the city that were looking for deeper connection to their Judaism and their culture. And so many of them are not feeling comfortable with prayers and with God. And the beauty of that prayer, that it ends with the wishes, or with the pasuk, with the verse, "Uvacharta b'chaim leman tichye." You should choose life, and that will help you to live your life. And it's beautiful, not only because it helps secular people, non-believers, to understand that actually it's in our hands. We should choose to live. We should choose in life. And that was my mission in the last year during the war, from the beginning, to encourage people to choose life, even though it was so terrible. It is so terrible till now. But that ability, that we should take responsibility and choose to live our life, that's our mission. And because of the war, even though there is a war.
Thank you. We join together at the top of page 5 in the handout. Our God and God of our ancestors, during these times of trouble and torment, watch over us and over our loved ones. Give us the strength to overcome the pain, suffering, and fear that engulf us. Give us a sound mind and a tenacious spirit to maintain our physical and mental health and care for those around us. Give our defenders on the front lines and on the home front wisdom, strength, courage, and resourcefulness. Fortify and guard their hearts and souls facing the battles and the sights that the mind can barely endure. Give our leaders reason and wisdom to navigate our people toward security, hope, and peace. Please watch over the souls and lives of those being held hostage. Minimize their suffering. Strengthen and embrace them with your love and ours. May they return soon to their loved ones. Guard and protect those who cannot protect themselves, and help us support and defend them as best we can. Heal, strengthen, and give courage to the injured. Give patience and spiritual resources to their caretakers. May the Shekhinah be revealed like a merciful ray of light, hope, holiness, and life. May it strengthen our hearts and minds and open paths of healing and recovery. And may we fulfill the verse, choose life, so you and your offspring would live by loving. Blessed are you, Adonai, who in compassion restores the Shekhinah to Zion, bringing life and shalom to all who dwell in her midst. Amen. We take these moments for silent prayer.
Say
In a moment, we'll be on page 253, in the middle of the page for our blessing for healing. In this week's Torah portion, Hagar, the woman who in our Torah is barely seen, calls God El Roi, the God who sees me, especially in this Transgender Awareness Week, and at a time when already vulnerable identities are all the more targeted. In our sacred congregation, we work to see each other, to find healing by knowing each other, by being known by each other, by having each other's back. We think of all our loved ones who are in need of healing, mind, body, or spirit. And if you wish, please add their names to the comments or speak it aloud now. We turn our hearts to all of those simchas, special occasions, worthy of blessing. And so as we prepare for our Shehechianu, our blessing of gratitude, please take this moment to reflect on this day, on this week, on those sacred occasions, those happy occasions that are worthy of blessing. And if you'd like, please call out if you have something to share. Please, God, something. Uh-oh, it's all the way in the back. There's a hand. You're going to have to go so loud. Wonderful. We are thankful. Hunter. Your brother's in the choir. That is a wonderful thing to be thankful of. Brotherly support and Shirenu's wonderful inspiration. We need all the source of inspiration we can get. I can't tell who that is. Yes, go ahead. We are thankful. Yes. Thanksgiving is like literally a time to, yes, Thanksgiving is coming. Like we Jews can't wait once a year for Thanksgiving. This is why we practice gratitude as often as we can. But yes, that should be fun too with family and friends. Lynn? So thankful to have Rabbi Nir present with us. I am with you.
My daughter engaged.
Your daughter was just engaged this week. Mazal tov. Now we're getting warmed up. Susan? Lovely. Lovely. So thank you to Susan for being such a leader of our Nitzvot Fiber Arts Group and of the mitzvah of bringing so much warmth once you saw our Breaking Bread on Broad neighbors and guests are so in need. And there's a lot of need. There's a lot of need in our neighborhood, and a lot of ways that Rodef Shalom members are finding to serve. Breaking Bread on Broad, this annual Bundled Up on Broad, and yesterday in our partnership with Jewish Children and Family Services, our closet, we were able to provide space so that they could provide 1,200 coats to guests who came to Rodef Shalom throughout the day yesterday. Is that Michael? Yeah. A 4-year running streak every morning? Is that something to celebrate? I'll take your word for it. That's great. I'll take your word for it. And happy birthday. And we're so glad you're a part of the Rodef Shalom team, one of our newer members of the team. Yeah, is that Karen back there? Yes. How wonderful to have Rebecca with us. Yes.
And I am so grateful to be back here.
Oh,
again,
so
and
nice.
To be able to celebrate with you, to sing with you, and to pray with you. And this is a real Shehechianu moment for me. The first time I get to sing with Shireen.
Oh.
And I want to thank Ryan and Brielle and Austin and Julius and Eliana for lending your wonderful voices.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you all. All right, Hunter, did you have one more? Okay. Yes, Chuck. You have a new granddaughter, Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. All right, for all of those wonderful simchas, blessings, we give thanks. Turning to page 344, we continue with our Shehechianu blessing. Amen. I'm going to offer a teaching. I'm going to give you a question and a preview of the question I'll ask at the end of this passage. The question I'm going to ask is, what's the point of the fruit part? Okay? So listen for that, okay? All right. The Talmud teaches a Torah scholar is not permitted to reside in any city that does not have these 10 things. A court that has the authority to punish transgressors, a tzedakah or charity fund for which money is collected by 2 people and distributed by 3, a synagogue, a bathhouse, a public bathroom, a doctor, a bloodletter, a scribe, a butcher, and a teacher of young children. They said, in the name of Rabbi Akiva, the city must also have varieties of fruit, because varieties of fruit illuminate the eyes. What's the point of all the fruit? What's the point of the fruit in that list of must-haves for a city? What's the point of the fruit? Fred? As an art teacher, Freddie wants to connect it to still life. Nice, nice. Any other thoughts, Marcia? Joy, happiness. These things are necessary. These are not extra. Yes. Diversity, because it said varieties, right? Not just one apple. Yes. Beautiful. What else, Elaine? Beauty. Absolutely. Beauty. Fred, that's what I thought you were going to say, actually. It's connected. I'm with you. Yes, all the way in the back. Is that Jack? What did he say? Sweetness. Absolutely. Amen to sweetness. What else? Nourishment. Yes. Yes. Heshi? Growth. Beautiful. Beautiful. Was there one more hand in the back? Go ahead. Health. I love that. Health. Not every preteen would say health. Nice job. That's great. That's great. I think that's all right. And I think that this is a beautiful passage to remind us that no matter what's going on in the world, right, there are things that we need that make our community whole. And in the necessity included is joy, is beauty. I would argue arts and culture, that these things are not extra. These things are part of what make us Jewish and make us human. I want to note that the example of that was fruit, and it is not a coincidence. There's so much in Jewish tradition, from ancient Judaism to modern Israeli Hebrew, that connects us to the natural world, that draws metaphor from the natural world. And so it's very common, for instance, for Hebrew names to be connected with the natural world. And that is true also for Rabbi Nir's name. I asked Rabbi Nir the meaning because it was a new Hebrew word for me. And Nir, as in Nun Yud Resh, or in English we're writing it N-I-R, right? Nir is the Hebrew word for the soil that when you're planting, the soil that is removed in order to make space for the seeds to be planted. Now, I'm all asphalt Philly, so this is as far as I can take it. So I asked some of my gardening friends this week, is there an English word for the soil that is removed in order to make the space for seeds to grow, to be planted and grow? I cannot find an English word for this. Does anyone want to correct me on that? Dirt. Toda rabah. Thank you very much, Fran. I could count on you. I know I could. Yeah, so there may be something specific, and sometimes so much can be embedded in a language about the values, right? About where our focus is. And so it makes sense that Hebrew might have some words around the natural world that English might be missing. But now we know, although there might not be one word, now we know there is a word, and therefore I think an interesting focus on the dirt that is removed to make space. Now, literally that's needed to grow, I'm told, to grow living things, right? And you've seen maybe like rows, right? The rows that come down and are lower where the seeds will be planted. Maybe you've seen this like on a road trip like I have in real life farms, yeah? In that space, you have a literal need, an actual farming technique, right? Agricultural technique. But also, I think Hebrew is offering for us something of a metaphor. Because sometimes we need to remove something in order to make space for growth. And in this case, I would say that's not a bad image for Shabbat. Because on Shabbat, we need to make some space. And I think that especially when the world is coming at us, or we're feeling some of the pain and the brokenness of the world, and the responsibility to do mitzvot and not be silent in the world when there's injustice. Sometimes we need to create some space. Typically, Reform Judaism, in thinking about the mitzvot around Shabbat, typically Reform Judaism focuses on what are called the positive mitzvot rather than the negative mitzvot. Negative mitzvot is not like negative energy, but the positive mitzvot, those are the actions that we do, that we add to our experience in order to pursue holiness on Shabbat, or connection on Shabbat, joy, peace on Shabbat. The negative mitzvot are those things from which we refrain according to Jewish tradition. Well, in Reform Judaism, as we've updated through the years, we don't necessarily follow all of those laws of refraining, such as, let's say, turning on a light switch or igniting my car to drive my car. These are traditional things that a Jew might choose to refrain from in order to keep Shabbat. Our emphasis here tends to be more on the positive, like Shabbat dinner, like Shabbat services, prayer, song, connecting with family, finding a peaceful way to spend Shabbat. I want to suggest, I think, that we might benefit from a little dip into the refraining also when it comes to Shabbat. Not because we feel pressure, peer pressure, don't do this or don't do that, but because it may serve us well in our efforts to create more holiness on Shabbat and to find some more inner peace in a world where that sometimes could feel challenging. I'd like to think about this in relationship to our relationship to the news as one example. I have noticed a lot of people in my life have been very attached to the news lately, and it can sort of leave a lack of space, head space, heart space, soul space. I'm not suggesting we give up the news. I think we have a responsibility to know what's going on in the world. But I do wonder if there might be a limit we could place on our relationship with the media. As one example, there might be a limit, a boundary. Maybe it would correspond with Shabbat. Maybe there are some news media limits that we could exercise on Shabbat, try it out, see what that does to our well-being, to our wholeness as human beings. It's one way that I think Jewish wisdom might bring to us something for this very moment. I'll suggest there are lots of ways we could think about how to protect ourselves, how to protect one another, how to protect our Shabbat. For me, I do think it has to do with phone notifications and news. For you, maybe it's related, maybe it's something else. But it might be a way to challenge ourselves on this Shabbat, to think about how can we increase the holiness in our world? How can we increase the holiness in our lives? How can we deepen our own spiritual lives? Are there places where we might remove something in order to make space for our own spiritual growth? I'm so grateful to be in this journey, this spiritual journey, with all of you. Shabbat Shalom. We continue in our prayer books, turning to Aleinu on page 282 and then 287. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל,
Tate gedula zer breshit, shehu noteh shamayim veyosed aretz, umoshav yikaro, bashamayim ima'o, ushchinatu zo, b'gofhei meromim, hu Eloheinu enod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech Shemo Echad. Please be seated. These words of Chana Senesh. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. This week, our congregation observes Yahrzeit for the following on whose shoulders we stand: Helen Abrams, Saul Appel, Samuel Ospitz, Elaine S. Baker, Coleman Blau, Irene B. Brandis, Siegfried Brenman, Marion Brenner, Lillian Brick, Asher Brody, Samuel Brummer, Esther Cohen, Louis M. Cohen, Isaac Gerasi, Edward L. Epstein, Simon Feldenheimer, Sarah Lee Feldman, A. Nathan Furman, Harold Finkelman, Sadie Fleischer, Lena Frank, Zerlene Frankel, Ronald Gade, William Gersley, Anna Glick Gold, Carl A. Goldenberg, Harris S. Goldstein, Bella Stein Goodman, S. Lewis Goodman, Elizabeth B. Gottlob, Vicki Grail, Martin Gubernick, Harry Gutterman, Bradley Charles Haves, Louis Herbeck, Isidore Hearst, Paul Hogan, Samuel Katz, Jack Kaufman, Sonny Kermans, Shirley B. Comans, Morton Crace, Terry Langbaum, Sarah Summer Leipziger, Howard C. Leopold, Hannah L. Levy, Morton W. Levy, Adrian Levick, Ernest S. Levy, Miriam Simon Levy, Sophie Cohn Lipman, Jerome Lowe, Reba H. Magaziner, Richard Hartz Mann, Steve Marks, Milton Mayers, Jack Mazer, Ruth Morin, Walter J. O'Brien, Martin Oppenheimer, Aaron Pardes, Fanny Potashnik, Harry E. Reinhard, Bernice Rhodes, Theodore Reback, Ann Oppenheimer Rosenmau, Harry Rosenberg, Hiram Rosenblum, Lee Rosenthal, Abraham Sachs, Rebecca Schumann, Harold F. Seaman, Fred Seefeld, A. Lewis Siegel, Sybil Schreier, Judith Silver, Rita Silver, Matthew Slapp, Sidney Spielberg, Ann Stedman, Albert Strickler, Muriel Fine-Stursberg, Dorothy Thompson, Anna Trachtenberg, Madeline H. Tress, Mayor Wax, Naomi Waxman, Martin Weiner, Leo Weiss, Samuel Adler West, Georgiano Pete Weiner, Nathan S. Wolf, George William Wolfston, Ida Jaffe Zaslow. And we remember the names of those who've been taken from our midst, but not from our hearts, in these most recent days, for whom we observe Shloshim. Susan Ashner, Nancy Brown, Paul Epstein, Anthony Hines, Shirley Lashner, Andy Narenberg, Tim Ney, Sherry L. Shemansky. And if you are observing Yahrzeit or Shloshim for someone whose name I have not called, please feel free to add it to the comments or speak it aloud now. Together, we honor their memories as, turning to page 294, we rise for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'alma devarach Hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalav v'yitalal Shmei d'kudashah barechu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nachamata, ta'amiran ve'elma, ve'umru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu ve'el kol Yisrael, ve'umru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, alenu ve'el kol Yisrael, ve'umru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to the bereaved and peace to each of you. And together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael b'meru. Amen.
It's my pleasure to call forward Ned Hanover, representing our Board of Advisors.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi Nir, you and I have become friends through our work together these last 2 years, and yet I am still so grateful that you are with us tonight and for the next 10 days. Baruch haba, welcome to Congregation Rodef Shalom. I am looking forward to learning in Torah study with you tomorrow morning and again next Shabbat. We will have many opportunities to learn together and to break bread together over the coming days. I am appreciative of the opportunity to be in partnership with you to discuss the World Zionist Congress and its importance to progressive Judaism in Israel this Tuesday night, and then to hear your Devar Torah on this topic again next Friday night. It is an honor to be together with you again. On December 7th, join us for Broadway Tonight, a musical evening featuring the No Name Pops, and explore the timeless works of Jewish composers who shaped Broadway's history. For more information, see page 7 of your program. If you are new to Rodef Shalom, a special welcome to you. Please meet Lynn Edelman, congregant and chair of the Israel Connector Speaker Series at Rodef Shalom, who is waving at the back of the sanctuary to learn more following the service.
Thank you. These closing words from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. Adonai, panav elecha, yasim lecha, shalom. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, yisa Adonai panav elecha, yasim lecha, shalom. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless us and keep us.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May the light of God's Spirit shine upon us and through us.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence be with us and bring us peace. Keni Ratzon, may this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. And that was so wonderful how you said all the kids' names.
Shabbat Shalom.
were
You
so
are
great.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I would like you to meet my husband, Jared.
I will be happy.
Yeah, say hello.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Thank you. Thanks for inspiring it, Mir. Shabbat Shalom. I love your words. Oh my God. Such a nice, just very personalizing it. Just, you know what it was. It was beautiful.
It worked. Yeah, that's what I
Totally
wanted
worked.
to do.
It was wonderful.
About 130 words.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Shabbat Shalom.